Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Rex. He's a level 3 whiskey sommelier. I'm finding myself. This is a Japanese whiskey. Japanese whiskey here is also in the process of finding themselves.
I'm pretty sure that this is from Matthew Gramlich.
Matthew Gramlich, you magnificent bastard. I like the palmability of this.
Oh, this one, yeah,
because
nice,
usually
right?
whenever I'm doing like the bastard and
you're like
swinging
hoping
things
it doesn't fall and
swinging
fly
around,
across the room,
right? Because it's I'm not a strong man, Daniel. No, I'm actually the strongest human being you ever met in your life. Ripped pythons. You want to get in there, right? It's like.
So in the current Japanese whiskey crisis, Akashi is one of these brands that people are starting to discover as available now that Nika and Yamazaki and Hibiki are cutting everything back.
Yes, and we did an episode about what the hell's going on with Japanese whiskey on our other channel, and the thing that makes it kind of precarious is there are so few rules, laws, regulations in Japan whenever it comes to the whiskey. So it's kind of like a wild, wild west of what you're actually getting in a bottle.
You really have to study.
You do.
The distillery itself, what are they doing?
Yeah.
This is the White Oak Distillery. Okay. They are making whiskey.
Okay, great.
And this is a 5-year-old sherry cask aged Japanese whiskey.
5-year-old sherry cask aged.
Yeah.
And I haven't nosed it yet, but Japanese whiskey is very often going to have a lot of Scotch influence because of the way that Japanese whiskey came into being.
In the nose, I get some of the typical American kind of new leather funk.
Really?
Just right. The first thing that I picked up in the nose. Now, here's the thing. I have discovered something.
This has to be a little proof.
In bourbon.
Oh, it's 50%.
There's 2 places that a musty funk comes out of the glass for me.
Yeah.
I actually realized this in the class this week.
Okay.
As I was taking notes.
So you're talking about American musty funk.
Period. Musty funk. Forget country, just musty funk. I'm talking about the malt mustiness, like you can get like you can get it in. So I either get it in Speyside bourbon casks predominantly, like I get it in Monkey Shoulder. There's this what I call a musty malt funk.
Okay, yeah,
right.
No, I'm with you.
However, I have also find it pretty regularly in a sherried whiskey where it hasn't dominated the nose into tobacco, but it's had a hint of sherry. And sherry, if you drink sherry by itself, is funky. It smells sweet. Right. You take a sip and it's musty and wine funky.
Sure.
Right? And I think that in some of these whiskeys, the funky, rich, earthy mustiness is actually coming from the sherry.
So if you want to be able to find notes in a lot of different whiskeys that are sherry casks, then there's several different sherries, but the ones that are going to be the most dominantly used in whiskey are going to be the PX, it's the Pedro Jimenez, and the Oloroso sherry. Is there another sherry that's very often used? Those are the 2 main ones that I can
sometimes Amontillado.
Okay.
But Oloroso and Pedro are the 2 top ones.
Pedro Jimenez.
Oloroso smells like almonds and sweetness, but tastes musty and funky.
Yeah.
Pedro tastes unbelievably dark candy, sweet, super sugar, closer to a port in its sugar content and its flavor. But raisin fig.
If you ever grab a couple bottles of those or get yourself a pour, you will totally start finding that element in the whiskeys that have used those kind of casks.
Go back to this and get coffee and cream and sugar.
All right, yeah.
Right? And then set it down.
Yeah.
And then, those chocolate butter cookies where you've got like the shortbread and then the chocolate around it, and they're in squares.
Yeah.
Germany makes some, and the Netherlands. Think of that. Shortbread and chocolate.
No, I don't get that, but going back to your funkiness, to me, that what I think you're calling a barley funk, for me, this is something that is going to be...
It's the wine.
Akin to some earthiness. I'm saying that barley funkiness, this is going to be some earthiness, this is going to be vegetal. Yeah.
I would definitely put it in the vegetal category.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, they got a license to distill whiskey, this distillery, in 1919. They've just not done a good job of doubling down into that category for themselves.
So they could have pioneered, they could have conquered the category.
They could have been, they were early adopters.
But they didn't go all in.
No, they stayed with sake and a couple other products.
Sure. So
now let's taste it for the first time.
So that's an interesting play on history. It's like, well, we could have been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh, it's peated. That's where the vegetal notes.
Vegetal earthiness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lightly peppery peat, not smoke.
I'm getting that, and then it's got this a little bit of a candied wrapper around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to explore a couple of whiskeys really quick.
Okay.
I'm going to let this sit, and I'm going to come back to it because I want to see what happens to it as it stays open.
Okay.
We were given 2 Japanese whiskeys by an importer from California.
Okay, so hold on. Is this categorized as a rep?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
So I told him about the awkward pause.
What's his name?
His name is Devin Hawley.
Devin Hawley. Okay. Let's drink the whiskey.
Okay, so he works for a wine and spirits importer in LA called CNS Imports. They specialize in Asian products, and they sourced these malts.
Okay.
They're both Shinobu. One is pure malt. One is the blended whiskey.
Yeah.
Right, and they have a whole portfolio.
Yeah.
They actually have a 20-year-old grain whiskey and these 2 Shinobus.
This is a pretty meaningful color difference on these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in and printed off.
Oh, the Mizunara oak. On the
Yes,
Shinobu.
that's why I thought you'd like this.
Yeah.
I went in and printed off their sheet that they give to reps.
Okay.
So we could see what they are telling people.
Sure.
50% malted barley, 50% wheat. Which means I'm betting it's column still whiskey.
Okay.
Instead of pot still.
Why?
Just because if you're going to do things more than barley, you traditionally are tripping into grain whiskey territory.
All right.
Now, I don't know that, and it doesn't say pot still anywhere.
Sure.
So we don't know. Don't know which of those it is, but we'll know from the taste, right? 43%
Here, I'll help
roughly.
you. Let me help you.
And pure malt, in theory. Oh, sorry, yours is the blended malt. This one's 100% malt. Pure malt was a term that showed up in Scotland. It was actually used by Cardew at one point to call something a pure malt, and then basically it got legally determined that you can't use that term. Pure malt is not a real thing, and you can't use that to basically trick people into thinking this is a single malt whiskey when it's a blend. But Japan held on to the pure malt moniker, and they use it in Nika. Nika uses a pure malt. I'm going to pour 1 per glass. It doesn't say this anywhere in their print-up sheet, but look what it says on the back. Luckily, transparency here. This is a good thing. Quality whiskey is selected from all around the world.
Yeah.
And then
So sourcing from all around.
reserved in American oak casks at first, and then finished in Mizunara barrels.
Okay, finished in Mizunara. Now, Mizunara oak is this Japanese oak that was kind of, they experimented with it many years ago, and it leaked like a sieve.
Well, and also it took too long to have an impact.
So long to have an impact on the whiskey that the time that they gave it and they sampled it, was like, yeah, it's hard to work with, and there's not an amazing thing happening here. So they let these barrels sit in the corner of the distillery for like, what, 20 years or something?
This is, 20 years. This is what I mean with malt funk.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And after 20 years, they say, hey, let's dust those off and try them, and it was amazing.
So the pure malt is all in on that space-sidey malt funk.
Yeah. Is this a higher proof? Because there's so much more. All right, this is amazing. The pure malt whiskey, the amount of notes coming out of the pure malt whiskey is like triple the amount coming out of the blended whiskey here.
Yeah, there's almost a light peppery note in that one.
You know what this reminds me of on the nose? The blended? The blended on the nose. It's reminding me of Canadian whiskey.
Whoa!
Hold on.
That
It looked like a funky adventure. Is that a funky adventure?
yeah. Steel yourself for a funky adventure, my friend.
So I don't know if you're going to be able, after getting tossed around.
That was the wrong order. I should have done the blended one
All right,
first.
so I'm going to do this one on the nose. It's
Yeah.
reminding me. It's not squarely in the middle of the maple Canadian whiskey.
Yeah,
But-
no, this one, I'm trying to just think in my head what just happened.
Oh, you know,
This one sort of went narrow, exploded in 18 directions, and then took a sharp left turn.
okay, I'm not diving into this yet. I'm diving into the blended, and I'll tell you exactly what this reminds me of.
Okay.
So you and I got a sample of this light whiskey, 13 years old.
Really old light whiskey.
Light whiskey. Remind people what light whiskey is.
Light whiskey is whiskey distilled lower than vodka, but higher than legally allowed for whiskey, typically in America.
Right.
So that's between 160 and 190.
Yeah. So
and
super high proof.
then aged in oak.
So 13 years. And it was
About the same color.
about the same color. Thing is, though, it was a one-dimensional, just like a vanilla. And
Right.
yeah, we were trying it like 70%, and then we watered it down.
kept proofing it, just stayed.
It didn't really switch up the flavors that much.
No, it just got less hot. But it tasted exactly the same every time we added water.
This has a little bit more going on, but vanilla and
I'm getting all the barley in this though.
on the blended,
On the nose.
man, I just found vanilla.
I mean, it's way lighter than this.
I got a slightly earthy vanilla on the taste. Vanilla, a little bit of earthiness.
Yeah. In the taste, it's just pure vanilla. This is pretty.
Okay, so
Very, very pretty.
let's focus on the funky adventure here.
Yeah, we just wait for it. Take a real sip. Don't play around with it. Just,
It's probably one of the most vegetal whiskeys I've had in a while.
yeah.
Yeah. There's vegetation, earthiness. You got the maltiness from barley, and then there's a little bit of a vanilla, honey, caramel finish. A lot of things going on in that one. That's interesting.
So it looks like I don't like this. It's not that I don't like it.
It's the flavor of whiplash.
Yeah, it's like it really is.
It
It's
just-
like,
it's
hey,
just-
come on,
Just yanking you,
just
you.
yanks you right back, and then yanks you the other direction.
It's not
It's like being shaken like a rag doll.
no, you're not getting a little tug. You're not getting a little tug here. You're getting a yank.
The blended is just pure accessibility.
Yeah.
The malt is just it's a crazy complicated explosion.
Funky vegetal adventure.
You know what?
Yeah?
It reminds me of I figured it out. Baijiu.
No.
Remember when we tried that Baijiu and it was just this like whoa funk I mean
That was
it's
like-
not Baijiu. It doesn't taste like Baijiu, but it's that level of dense dramatic flavors.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that level
doesn't taste like
that level of
Baijiu.
intensity and drama, but
Yes.
not necessarily those flavors.
Yes.
Okay, Jacob Sutherland. I work at a grocery store, and the knowledge I've gained from watching these videos and doing some whiskey exploring on my own has allowed me to be an excellent whiskey guide for all the guests that come to our store. You sell whiskey in your grocery store?
Well, California can do that. I don't know where he is, but
Our stores.
there are many stores that you can just go to the grocery store and they have the 2 liquor aisles
Man,
full length at the store.
in Austin?
No, in other states.
Because of this, I have recently received a promotion.
Yeah.
I will be working in the adult beverage department in the coming weeks. Cheers to y'all and the Whiskey Tribe for all the wisdom and fun. Cheers to you, good
Cheers
sir.
to you.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I'm back to the Akashi, and it's wonderful.
That was the first one we did?
Pick up that Akashi. No, yours is right there.
How do you know?
It's the sherry and graham cracker goodness.
Oh. Yeah, that feels like it's not, this is dramatic, almost too much, just getting jerked around. It's subtle, but there's still a lot of richness.
Because the peat.
Richness. There's a lot of complementing flavors there. Brandon Walker, off topic, but do you guys ever taste a whiskey and think it tastes completely different than before? Yes! All the time.
All the time.
I don't know if I'm mentally recalling more sense and taste each time as I get better at it, or if I'm losing my mind.
No,
Any thoughts?
you're simply adding
Right.
to the range that a whiskey covers.
So,
Right? It completely depends on what you ate,
yeah,
what time of day.
So we did an episode very recently that's going to be super helpful on the Whiskey Tribe channel. We'll link it up here. It's the tasting truth snobs don't want you to know. And we go through the entire the conversation of what this brings up.
Subjective reality.
What's subjective reality? And then there's a handful of things that are objective.
Context.
But you can all get it here. I think this is both concerning and promising for the future of Japanese whiskey.
Sure.
Yes, why not? It's like, I have all the opinions. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a
You
friend.
steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.